I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. React if you have to,
Don't know the time, just know that I'm, one of a kind, What's on your mind, What hard to find, Beautiful mind, Still in my prime, Just know that I'm here.
What's up, everybody? Pondoff's Anonymous, episode 32.
32.
32.
I always just repeat. I've noticed that. You always say, here's the number, and I go, 32. Like a dork.
I like it. No, I like it.
That's what I contribute to this show. I just will repeat what you say.
It's a consistency.
Yes.
That's our opener, you know? Some people got this grand fucking opening where it's like, you know, it's all romanticized, and I think we still use the same music we chose.
Of course. From the original. Hey, Roseanne used the same music all those years. Friends used the same music all those years.
That's exactly. So we still got the opening music and the closing music.
Yeah.
You should, you know, the only way that we should ever change it, Jeff, is if you wanted to create a couple tunes and Anonymous tune.
We'll see. I don't know. It'll probably sound like John Mayer.
Hey, John Mayer gets more ass in a toilet seat.
That's true.
I hated him, and then you just gotta respect what he's accomplished. You know what I mean? It's like,
don't hate the player, hate the game.
Amen. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's weird. I was telling Britt, I'm like, man, this weekend's been awesome. And then this morning I woke up and I felt like out of nowhere, just like random anxiety. I'm like, oh, why does this happen? And that's just how it goes, right? Sometimes it's just there and you don't know why.
Not the podcast, is it?
Oh, no, it's not the podcast. So we always joke that every time I have like 3 good days in a row, then one day is just going to suck.
Sure.
But today doesn't suck by any means. So, you know. I mean, and you're here, and you're not in your house, it looks like. Right,
Zoom video.
Yeah, I'm at the church today.
So it hasn't paralyzed you. That's good news.
No. It's not bad at all, actually. And that's the thing. When you learn to recognize it, then you can start to take steps to chill out. So that's what I did.
Have you ever, and even by accident, mixed Xanax with alcohol?
I don't think so.
Not to put you on the spot here.
No, really, I really don't think so. Maybe by accident. I've never had I take a low dose of Xanax anyway, and I don't know if it's ever. I don't think I've ever had any side effects from doing that, at least. So I don't know. Maybe I haven't done it.
It takes your drunken relaxedness to a whole new level. It's not safe at all.
It's not good. Yeah.
I think even throughout my fucking debauchery, I only mixed the two. I know for a fact through the funeral services for my old man. I was popping Xanax like fucking Tic Tacs, and had both, suit coat inside pockets with flasks and a bottle in my hand, one left hand, so my right hand could shake people's hands, and it got me through it. But it probably it's not advised. Not glorifying it, but
yeah.
And then maybe during when I would have a panic attack and I took a Xanax, there was always alcohol in my system, but it wasn't. I mean, the real problem is when people are, hey, I'm gonna go out to the bar. Oh, you got some Xanax? Let me have some. And then you mix the two, and you don't give a fuck about the dose, and the next thing you know, you're in fucking La La Land, butt naked in a cornfield getting fucked by a goat. So, not that
Not that ever happened
Anyway.
to you. No, that it's weird, right? This is like a weird thing to try to balance on this podcast because we're talking about addiction and we talk about anxiety and depression, and sometimes the anxiety medication you can become dependent on it, and then it leads to other things, right? So,
Oh yeah,
it's
No,
a hard thing to balance.
it's a good point because the Xanax benzos, right,
Yeah,
are highly addictive, and it's a whole just using not just using terminology that I come up with. There's like a whole fucking wing of rehabs that are strictly for benzo addictions. It's so you go to rehab for that. I know people that have had to do that, and I've heard that they don't let. I've heard this, and I don't know how. And nothing's 100% right, but I mean I've heard this from a medical professional that doctors can't prescribe themselves this shit, but I don't think they're even other doctors prescribe them Xanax because it was getting abused or I don't know. There was a story. So it is, yeah, you're right. It's definitely take as prescribed medication.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing is I was also watching a documentary about people who are prescribed Xanax as their treatment, where they take it every day, and then it ends up blocking their body's ability to actually cope, right? And so they become more dependent, and then they literally lose their minds. It's a sad thing. And so that's the other thing is like, I early on in this podcast, I'm like, get Xanax if you need it, get Xanax. And now I'm starting to think, well, as long as you take it as needed, I think it's better. I don't know. I'm no doctor. I got, I'm definitely don't want to give false information, but it's a scary thing. But it's also, as long as you regulate yourself well and you're capable of doing that, then it's like, I think it's a good thing.
No, you're right. It helps you get through. Like I always associated Xanax before, even in my early college partying days and early 20s, never really. I had heard of Xanax. I didn't fuck with it. But when my grandfather died, I think I was 20, and he had a bad form of colon cancer that just ate him up, and I helped. I was super close with him, and I helped. I would leave school and skip classes to go down and kind of help him at the Siteman Cancer Center in St. Louis, and we were super close. But when he died, my grandma, to get through that funeral, her doctor gave her Xanax, and like any good grandson, I'd say, hey, let me take one of those this tough time, and it was, and I would take them just to get through that time. So basically what I'm saying is I associated Xanax with getting through that the intensity of a grief situation the first couple weeks. But like you said, it does help you cope through that. So you were talking about, a little technical difficulty, but as Xanax helping people cope and then becoming the coping mechanism, right? So when it turns that corner, it is like we're supposed to feel shit, right? And grief can be so crippling. You know, anytime I get a headache, I run to I used to an ibuprofen bottle, but I've since stopped taking ibuprofen, and now because there was some head issues I was having that was giving me these headaches, and we think I got that under control, and I could go on and on about my fucking ibuprofen abuse. But what I'm trying to get to is that I want a quick fix, man. I had a headache, boom, pop some ibuprofen, it goes away.
Yep.
I'm grieving, I want to pop a pill and it goes away. And it's fucking, maybe it's half laziness, I don't know, but with the grief stuff, it's so, for people that have gone through the real fucking crippling, like life changing grief, I've heard this in grief groups, like, are people that have experienced, for instance, the loss of a child, which is a unimaginable grief, and one that I hope I never have to experience. God fucking please. But for people that I know, and I'm thinking of one person in particular, she, it's an everyday life with the grief that doesn't go away, and there's good and bad, but she's transformed lives with sharing her grief journey, and her child's loss has transformed, and I would say has saved some lives. It's probably not a fucking secret who I'm talking about.
Right.
Ollie's mom, and she's never. I mean, there are, and I don't want to talk too much about her, but without her, one day she'll come on. She said she will. I promise. That'll be a fun podcast. But you're supposed to feel that, and it's a price of love, right? But our body's supposed to feel these emotions. That's why we have them. And as much as it sucks, you got to feel the bad ones too. And if you just go for the quick fix and pop Xanax every time next thing you know, you're not taking Xanax for a fucking tragedy you just experienced. You're taking Xanax because, the fucking Blues lost a exhibition fucking game to Vegas the other night, and then that's a little it becomes a problem. Like, now, if the Blues lose in the playoffs that actually fucking count starting next week, no, I'm not. I'm kidding. I'm not advocating for you to go snort some fucking peaches, or some ladders, whatever the fuck the street terms are for them now. Man, Jeff, we jumped right into it today.
We did. Yeah. I don't know what you were planning on talking about today, but there we went.
Well, no, I appreciate it. I usually, if there's a format, which we don't have because we don't. I've learned this from guys I look up to that do podcasts and stuff. The ones that or do radio shows. That I'm lazy, but also anti-show prep because I want to be raw. I don't know if I'm lazy. I'm busier than a fucking fuck right now, and I think I said that on the last one. But even when my life wasn't this crazy, show prep sucks. Let's just fucking roll with it. Bullshit.
Yeah.
But we've kind of gotten into a format the last couple weeks on these Saturday morning record sessions, which I enjoy. That we bullshit, make some jokes, and then I get a second half get into a topic. Yeah. So it's cool that we went off the cuff because that was important. And I'd like to, we always say this, but I have some people that I'd like to get on and talk more from an expert side of the benzo shit.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we need.
Yeah, and I know some people that probably would be willing to come on and talk about their experience with their benzo reliance, their Xanax abuse, if you want to call it, and I think that would be a good perspective. Next Saturday, we actually do have a guest that's on the books, and I'm excited about him. He's barring any types of cancellation or reschedule, which happens in this business quite often, as I'm learning. But he has opened a big-time social, I don't know his official titles, but I'm probably underselling him, big-time social worker and therapist, and has opened his own joint in Belleville, Illinois, where they specialize in all kinds of things that we talk about on this show, and he's a very close old friend of mine. So
awesome.
So yeah, he'll be fun next week, and then the guest that I've been teeing up, former athlete, he's going to come on. He even said he has a radio show in town, and he even said on the radio that he's like, I owe you a podcast. And then the host of his co-host was like, he owes me one too. So, it's just he's busy. It's It is what it is. You know, I don't expect somebody to drop everything they're doing to come on our fucking,
Yeah.
our little pony show, if you want to call it that. But it'll be fun because I think he's seen a lot,
Yeah.
from a professional athlete standpoint. So, so those are a couple guys lined up. I do have a grief counselor coming up,
cool.
and then you book somebody for later in August that we're real excited to have.
Yep. Somebody,
And,
let's just say that if you are if you grew up in the late '90s, the early 2000s, and you were in like a preteen or a teen, you'll recognize this guy from a string of TV commercials. But yeah, I never want to say people who they are. It'd probably help, but if it falls through, you never want to well,
and I don't know how to. I don't know shit about promoting this, so I don't know if it's suspense is good or we should tell people and they put it on their calendar, and most likely nobody gives a fuck anyway because they're not listening to the shit show. So.
Once it's recorded, then we'll promote it.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Speaking of,
we're just gonna stick to the script.
Yeah. Speaking of doing some bullshitting, so last night Brittany and I had Fridays, which is I think sometimes we've said the unofficial sponsor of this podcast, except for maybe we're their unofficial sponsor as much as we talk about them for free.
I was going to ask you at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went right where I wanted to go because first off, my ego and my ego's a little fucked up right now because you name dropped me to some gal who didn't know who I was, and that really fucks me up when it comes to Fridays. I'm gonna call the owner. I'm gonna have a fucking sit down with this gal. Sorry I'm not in there Monday through fucking Sunday, open to close like I used to be, laying on the fucking floor with the fucking powder around my nose and a fucking whiskey bottle half up my ass. Excuse me.
Yeah, I called up. I said, "Hey, I was told to order a side of the wing sauce." "Well, what kind of wing sauce?" I said, "I don't know. Chris Pondoff said to get it." And she's like, "I don't know, our buffalo?" And so I'm like, yeah. She just completely acted like she'd never heard of you.
That pisses me off.
And
people
then
that know me that listen to this will understand.
Oh, I said Brittany my wife watched me text you that. She's like, "Why'd you send him that?" I'm like, "I don't know. Why didn't you tell me not to if you thought it was bad?"
No, it's all good. I'm like that guy, that, tell them you know me. And then they're like, who the fuck is that? It's always a worse fear of mine. And I never, ever thought it would happen at Fridays. And it did last night. And I'm fucking, listen, I lost sleep. I'm mad. I'm upset. My ego's bruised. My ego is so fucking bruised. I'm going to call Tia. I'm going to call Phil. I'm going to call Cliff. We're going to have a fucking sit down.
I talked to the girl who was making the food in the kitchen, but I didn't mention your name. I don't know who that was. Probably someone I would imagine.
That kitchen. Do you want to know the things I've done in that fucking kitchen on and off hours? Probably
not.
Should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
But their fried fish is great. The wing sauce, excellent.
So I was going to ask you, and I didn't hear from you, so I'm like, fuck, he didn't like the fish.
No, it was great.
0 for 2. Name dropped me, they didn't know me. I'm glad you liked it. I loved the. So this is just me. I get the fish, and I put a couple pieces and make a rye bread sandwich with pickles and onions and tartar. The other 2 pieces it depends how many you get, and I'll dip in that hot wing sauce. I like that hot wing sauce with fried fish or something about.
It's good. Did you ever make that hot wing sauce when you worked there, or
fucking invented it, Jeff?
Did you?
I mean, not really, but it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple stuff. It's a buttery hot wing sauce, which unless they fucked up the recipe.
Is there some olive juice in there? I thought I tasted a hint of olive juice. Maybe not.
There's not supposed to be, but you never know. It depends how drunk the cook is. You know what I mean?
She was super nice. I wish I would have said something because I bet you, and whoever it was, her husband was there too. So I wish I would have gotten the name of the cook.
Well, we'll take you in there and make a regular out of you.
Yeah, I need to get in there.
It's a great place. It's pre-recovery, right? When you're falling down drunk, you blame everybody. So the old Chris, blames Fridays for his alcoholism, but the new Chris blames Chris for his alcoholism. The tavern didn't come pick me up and
right.
drive me to the bar, right?
Yeah.
But people we kid around and talk often about it being a neighborhood tavern, and blue collar at best, and it's a lot of people there just go there to get drunk. It's more than that. The food's good, but the people are good people, and that's an understatement. They've done as much as a small neighborhood tavern can do as far as charity and giving. It's very fucking church-esque, right? Like, it used to be my church. Still kind of is, except for this one gal who doesn't fucking know me. She probably started yesterday. Which, I thought, do you, if you don't know Chris Pondoff, get to fucking know him.
Yeah.
Or that's part of the interview process. Apparently not anymore. So, I mean, I got all kinds of phone calls to make after this podcast.
Yeah. Literally, I sent him that text message. He goes, I'm going to call up there and find out who's working.
Motherfuckers. You really hit a nerve. And everybody used to make fun of me. I think he thinks he owns that place. I don't think. I mean, as much fucking money as I put behind the bar.
Did your paycheck just like when you worked there? Did it just go right back into the place?
I mean, absolutely. You have no idea. Like I just say I endorse it, cash it, and just spend the money right there. And then they put the machines in the back. It's a whole deal. But when I stopped drinking, I was seriously concerned for the place. True story though, they used to order my brand of whiskey was VO, right? I've said it a couple times on this show, and that was one of I don't know if I was probably the only one that really drank it, which is odd because it's the best whiskey ever on the planet, ever distilled. Stick that in your fucking pipe and smoke it. Exactly. Seagram's makes it. It's not Seagram 7. Seagram 7 is dog shit. I'm telling you. It's Seagram's. People would try to fucking do that. I know exactly if they tried to give me 7. So it's just VO. They have a VO Gold. Tom and I knocked those fuckers down like dominoes, baby. And that's what we drank. So when I stopped drinking, their distributor was like, "Hey, you guys are missing that VO." They're like, "No, we don't order. We can't order it as much as we used to." He would think that they missed something on their order and call him. No, that fucking asshole got sober. So we gotta go recruit another drunk.
Yeah. That's what you said, that it's kind of like a church and the people are good there. In fact, like these microphones, if you're watching us on video, these Heil microphones, I mean, we got from a connection at Fridays, Look at Chris.
Can you see me?
I can see it.
They're fucking hot, aren't they?
They're cool.
They're not. They're definitely Cadillac Rolls-Royce microphones for a piece of shit car show that this is, right? It's
yes, for sure.
I mean, I'm sitting in my fucking basement. Look at this. And like it's an unfinished basement. I got my I call it my racement. I got my hockey shit. I got my old man up on the wall, PA napkin, and then I got this fucking like a Buddy Holly, I call it, style Richie Valens La Bamba microphone, the big bopper here. So yeah,
shout out to Steve. Yeah,
shout out to Steve and he's a good guy, and yeah, we talked about it before. We all lost a little over a year ago, and no, it wasn't. What the fuck's wrong with me? It was right before COVID. It seems like a fucking year.
Yeah,
right?
no
that
kidding,
we lost the matriarch of Fridays, and that she was the one who we did a bicycle poker run. Have you heard of that? I've told you about that, right?
I don't know.
All right. So have you heard of poker runs,
Oh, yeah,
motorcycle poker runs? Mm-hmm. All right. So
been on a few of those.
Really, the best man at my wedding, his father used to ride his bike to the taverns. I'm talking 35 years ago. And him and a couple of guys said, "Fuck it, to be safe, we're not going to, can't get on our motorcycles. We're going to ride our bicycles to these taverns and do our own little poker run."
Nice.
And it stuck. And every summer in Belleville, there's the bicycle poker run. Well, it's one of the funnest, the best Sundays of the year, and people get wasted and destroy their knees and their elbows and each bar. So there's 7 or 8 bars that participate, and they have their own team and their own colored T-shirt, and you'll see like herds of people. If you just once we get past this fucking pandemic, I'll introduce you and Brittany to the bicycle poker run. It's a great fucking time, and thank you for taking my picture. God bless.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to take a picture of the setup here. That's all.
All right. But the bicycle poker run is and what happens is each bar, a cut of the proceeds goes to a charity. Well, one year, the year after Ollie passed away, it was Kathy who I was just talking about, the matriarch of Fridays, we lost a couple months ago, earlier this year. She decided to dedicate the whole thing, not just each bar would donate their own proceeds to their own charity. She got every bar to chip in, and I don't know, we raised over like $5,000 for a Belleville shit show like the bicycle poker run. That's a pretty good call.
That's good.
And it was just giving back, man. And you should see some of these fucking people. So I would work the bicycle. I would always work at Fridays at 10 bar and help out around the tavern. And each group that comes in later in the day, they're fucking bandaged up with duct tape, and they would always stop at Fridays because they'd get pizzas to eat. Like, it would be you got to put something in your stomach if you're going to drink this much. But
right.
But by the end of the night, people are getting taxied home, and a couple people end up in the back of a fucking police car. A couple guys I know, one of them's no longer with us. It's a theme here. We had to go bail him out. He left the tavern on his bicycle at 11. We had to bail him out of jail about 1, and then he got his bike back and finished the poker run. So that shit happened all the time. So
yeah,
fun times, man, fun times, and I'm glad you guys got to enjoy a Friday's fish plate.
Yes,
I miss it, and
it's funny, and because when the pandemic hit, it was right in the middle of Lent, so all the fish fries around town had to stop. And I think is it St. Henry's? I think St. Henry's is the one that's our favorite.
It's over by Altoff.
Yeah, that's the one that's our favorite in town. And so we had that twice, and then they shut it down. And my wife's pregnant right now, so she craves food anyway. She's really craving it right now, so she had to have her fried fish last night.
And I'm glad you said that. And I'll, before we get into what I wanted to kind of talk about today, if you haven't had Swansea Improvement,
yes,
you have.
We have. Yep, I've had that
Okay.
too. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. I've the Knights of Columbus on Old Collinsville Road used to be pretty good. Depending, it's hard for me to go back to that place because it was at a fish fry at the Knights of Columbus that I first laid the my first pickup line to my ex fiance, who was at the time bartending and waitressing at the Knights of Columbus before she jumped up to Hollywood Gentlemen's Club, but God bless her, and I just try not to go in the fucking Knights of Columbus anymore. Then anyway, to move on here, it's funny you talked about cravings, and I woke up this morning, just kind of, what should we talk about today? I don't want to get too dark. Sometimes we can get pretty dark here for a good reason, and really get down in the the pit of your stomach and get fucking emotional and all that shit. So I didn't really want to go there today. So I was just thinking about, and people can make fun of me all they want, praying about what we should talk about today. And it hit me that I wanted to talk about cravings, and some things I've done to try to overcome them as far as alcohol and what it looks like, and then and this is, I'm really gonna get fucking my balls broken for this, because I guess until it happens to you, this Jesus life transformation fucking shit that I talk about, people, I still get, these people still think you're full of shit. We've talked about that kind of when you say it. We talked about the calling, like a calling.
Right, yeah.
And then it happens. So, I mean, I was one of those guys, like, I don't, But, like, getting signs and shit like that, and this isn't even of big importance, but after I decided, I wrote down, I went upstairs, and Ash was like, what are you going to talk about today? I'm like, cocaine and fucking hookers. What do you think I'm going to talk about? And then I was like, actually, I'm going to talk about cravings. And then she goes, oh, okay. And then I opened up my phone app, my Bible app, and this is where I'm going to lose people. Fucking Christian, fucking blah, blah, blah. Go fuck yourself. But come to church, and I'll hold your hand and say the Our Father.
Yeah.
Literally, the verse of the day is James 1:14. It says, everyone is tempted by their own cravings. They are lured away and enticed by them. And I was like, fuck, man.
That's awesome.
That shit. And I don't care if people think I'm making it up. I'm not, motherfuckers. Yeah. I literally, 10 minutes before opening that app, was like, I'm going to talk about cravings at some point on the podcast today. And boom, it pops up. Jesus gives me a back rub with this sign right there. I get goosebumps. Bing, bang, boom. Let's talk about cravings. And I'm not talking about, it does go into food. I was gonna say, I'm not talking about a 30-pack from White Castles that they actually call the Crave Case, because that sounds pretty fucking good right now. But
dude, I opened the Bible app. You're right. It's right there if you can see it. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. See? I'm telling you, this shit's fucking real.
Yeah.
Keep mocking me, motherfuckers, back home. Keep mocking me. Humble your shit. Anyway, I was having a conversation with a guy this week that we're trying to help, and he actually, there's not much that we can do because this particular person's helping themselves, and that's so awesome to see. Mm-hmm. And when somebody is right at the beginning, and it's not just this guy, I have this conversation often with people. When somebody gets to rehab for, name that, addiction, it's all about, I mean, the initial withdrawal and the cravings for that bottle, that needle, that line, whatever, is so fucking strong, right? So they try to help you with medication, and they call it detox. But after you get leveled out, what do you do about the cravings? And you have them. And for me, there was a medication that I was prescribed inside, and then I stayed on it afterwards. It was called naltrexone, and what it does is, this is what the intention of the drug is to, and anybody that's been in my shoes usually becomes quite the street pharmacist, where we know what all these drugs are: naltrexone, Vivitrol, Suboxone. These are all, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist, and I don't know as much as as much as I pretend to, probably, but there are people out there that can correct me if I say anything wrong on the Facebook page, and we're always looking for helpful information to share with our listeners and the people that are struggling. So if I say something that's a little off center, please right the ship for us. But in my experience, these like naltrexone's a two-pronged approach drug. It will block the receptors. If you try to get drunk, you're not really going to feel drunk. The same thing with, I believe, Vivitrol, which I've been told that naltrexone's a pill form of Vivitrol, and Vivitrol's a shot you get in the ass once every 4 weeks. And with Vivitrol, if you go to use heroin, for instance, you're not gonna get high. You still fuck yourself up by using heroin. Medically, you could still kill yourself, but you're not going to get high, right? I think I'm pretty sure that's accurate. What the naltrexone, when I said two-pronged approach, the other thing that it does, and I know this from experience, is that it helps with your cravings. So think about, and people, this is not just an alcohol thing, and we've talked a lot about, today about food, and Jeff mentioned his wife who was pregnant, and we always kind of say pregnant women have these cravings and make fun, but and it's yes, I'm not a woman, so I wouldn't know, but I have heard that's a pretty accurate stereotype that pregnant women get crazy fucking cravings, and God bless them for it. But it's like cigarettes, you crave, and there's medication out there, I believe, or you hear them on the commercials, patches, or whatever the fuck they are. Although I think those actually give you, excuse me, nicotine, but that help with cravings. And the naltrexone, so just my personal story, because that's what I can speak to, is I took naltrexone in rehab, and when I got out, I stayed on it for about 6 months. And the reason I got off of it was because I was feeling very good, and I got off of it under the supervision of my doctor, and I said, I'm gonna stop the naltrexone, and let's see what happens, right? And then I'll know I still have it, and I have your number, and we'll go. Because what naltrexone and Vivitrol, what it blocks, it blocks the opioid receptors in your brain. So if I was driving around and boom, got smashed by a fucking semi, and they're airlifting me or taking me to a hospital, and I'm in excruciating pain, and they go to throw me some fucking morphine or whatever, the painkiller, right? I ain't gonna feel it. I'm gonna feel the pain. It's not gonna, if I'm on naltrexone or if I'm on Vivitrol. So my mother was concerned about that. Is this a pill you're gonna take forever? I didn't know. So at about 6 months out of rehab, I said, let's give it a try. So I got off of it, and my cravings haven't been, from that day to now, 6.5 years, almost. They aren't that hard for me personally on craving alcohol. Now, I do crave a drink every once in a while. I've often said that the drink I miss the most is the hot toddy. I think I've said it on this show.
Yeah, I think so.
When I'm sick and I just want a hot glass of whiskey. I also crave the drink, the after work bring the stress level down drink. I don't miss the even, hey, it's Friday night, let's go out to happy hour. I can still do that. I can still do that after work and go meet. I miss that now because of COVID.
Right.
But I don't miss that. I'm gonna crave to go get fucked up on a Friday night. I don't miss that. I miss the stress release drink, the stress reduced drink. I miss the drink when I'm sick, which are probably which is funny because if those are the drinks you miss the most, I wonder, probably a healthier way to do the stress, handling the stress of a work week or a work day that that goes to shit. Or I've been through some tough losses since I've been sober, so a big drink for me was the funeral drink and after funeral, and just get fucked up and try to mask that, so I don't really miss that as much. But the point is, every once in a while I have that, I'm not feeling good, or I have that hard day at work and I think about a glass of whiskey, my mouth will water. So I still crave it. But it's literally a 1 to 3 second craving, and I've been able to really just think about how one glass led to double-digit glasses, and the next day I felt so bad. I couldn't stop. And I look at what I have now since I've stopped drinking, and that, I mean, literally 1 to 3 seconds, my mouth dries up, and it's all good. What I'm struggling with fucking now is craving goddamn ice cream, man. I should say, sorry for saying goddamn. See that movie Major League? He's like, you can't say goddamn on the air. He goes, oh, who cares? Nobody's listening anyway. I mean, that
was that you
that works
said
here.
That?
Yeah. Euchre goes, he goes, one goddamn hit. That's all he got is one goddamn hit. And the other guy goes, you can't say goddamn on the air. He goes, who cares? Nobody's listening anyway. That's perfect for this show. But I mean, I'm telling you, I do good during the week. It's the same thing, though. I've been looking into this. It's the same fucking dopamine, right? It's all about dopamine, and I want to have somebody on that can talk more intelligently than I can about dopamine, but I want to talk to the people that I am sit at a tavern with right now, and not try to outsmart them or say, hey, I read here, and I got a degree in this, and then, have a fucking dick measuring contest. That's not the point. Dopamine is what drives us to this shit. So it's the same thing with food, and when if you hear people all the time talk about sugar and sugar cravings, that's a real thing. You go on a sugar detox, you're going to get sick. People always said that keto deal, the first thing you have like a keto flu because you get sick because it's sugar. I'm telling you, your brain's craving it. It's the same thing as fucking rehab, maybe on a, going through the DTs they call it with alcohol or with heroin. And the thing about alcohol, if you don't do it under medical supervision, you can die. We've talked about that. It can be fatal.
Yeah.
With heroin, you just get. I mean, it's the. Have you seen these guys go through this heroin withdrawal and how sick they get? It's literally. Have you seen the movie Outbreak, where they got the people have the fucking Motaba virus, man, and it's what it looks like. These people just are shaking and puking and fucking shitting, and it's bad news going through that withdrawal. Sugar does it too, man, and I've been struggling with the craving. I put the fucking weight back on. People make fun of me. Go fuck yourself. But still, I've noticed it, and it's the same cycle that I had on a. Listen, I'm not bitching. I'd rather have a little problem with the fucking ice cream and peanut butter than, fucking shooting up, right? But it's got me thinking about what to do as far, and whoever comes out with the pill that can block you from wanting to eat bad shit and make everybody skinny
somebody
is gonna
find me that pill.
They will, right? And the person that comes up with that will dethrone Bill Gates or this Bezos Amazon motherfucker as the richest man on the planet. You know what I mean? So maybe you and I should start getting to work on that.
I need to find some laboratory.
And everybody used to say that doing a bunch of coke will make you lose weight. Well, I know a couple of us that didn't work fucking for. Let me tell you that right now.
Did you ever hear that Artie Lang joke about, being a coke addict? He's like, "What are you putting that on cheeseburgers?"
Yeah. What? Wait. Say that again. What'd he say?
The Artie Lang joke. Somebody said, "You're a coke addict. Look at you. You're fat." He's like, "They're like, what have you been putting that on cheeseburgers?"
That's exactly.
Of course, he's a comedian and can tell it better, but it's all good.
Yeah. Well, it's no, he's right. That's God bless him, and that is he's always been a guy that would be I'm not. There's a 1% chance that, or less than a 1% chance that we'll ever have Katie Holmes on this podcast. Who,
yeah.
And I bring her up because we're just rounded the corner of season 5 and we started season 6 on our Dawson's Creek binge watch.
Yes.
But I would say there's maybe a 2.5 to 5%. 5 might be high. 2.5 to 3% chance that we could get Artie Lang on.
Yeah.
A, because of the nature of the podcast, but B, there is a like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon that is still far fetched. But if Katie Holmes is a 0.0001%, Artie's at like a 2.5%. Nice. So that's not bad, right?
No. And if anybody out there knows Katie Holmes, please hook us up.
Yeah, God. I mean,
Joey.
I got to be careful. Here because Ashley does listen from time to time, and I don't want to get inappropriate. And I don't say that very often. Like, I don't want to get inappropriate, but when it comes to Katie Holmes, she has my heart, my whole heart, and I got it. All right. Anyway, what were we talking about? Cravings. Yeah.
Cravings.
So, seriously, there's also a drug called Antabuse, and it's a medication that, if it's the one that people have heard of, if you come within a sniff of alcohol, you're going to be violently puking. I've heard people that can't take mouthwash that are on Antabuse and it works because some people have to take it so they won't drink alcohol because they'll get so fucking violently sick, and that's a pill to help with the. I think it's more of a deterrent. Now I don't know medically if it stops cravings or not, but from what I know about naltrexone, which is the pill form which you take daily, where Vivitrol is a shot once a month, they're the same compound, and they A, block cravings, and they B, won't let you get fucked up. They won't let you get that feeling, that dopamine, that dopamine fucking nut, if you will. You won't get to, you're not going to finish, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So, see, that wasn't inappropriate, but
Not
talking
at
about
all.
Katie Holmes is going to be inappropriate. And people struggle with cravings outside of addiction, right? We talked about it with the food and sugar and coming up with a game plan to because that's what I'm literally telling myself right now. Like, you beat alcohol, you don't have to have this triple scoop from Oberweis, which is good fucking shit.
We used to get
I'm trying to balance the live a little, and I don't have to be this big fucking square, but it is a battle, and it's something to talk about, because I think a lot of people will resonate with, whether it's their alcoholism that they haven't pinpointed yet, or they know someone with a drug addiction that craves it, or people in general with food. I think that's it's a big deal. So if anybody out there's listening has tips, wants to come on, or shoot us an email, man, it's I think it's a good conversation, and I just want to kickstart it. I just wanted to kick the tires on it for sure, because I don't have all the answers. I'm looking for help. Always looking for tools in my toolbox to use to be healthier. And I'm not looking for a magic pill. I'm not going to go to the gym and excuse me, man. I got this. It's not COVID. But I feel I have to say that. Just instinct now to say that, right?
Yeah.
Every time I cough or sneeze, it's not COVID. But I'm just not a gym guy. Played hockey my whole life and was an athlete. And that was my gym. But and I'm not going to go to a gym and fucking look at myself in the mirror and put oil on my body to try to look like Lex Luger and pump some iron. It's just not my style. But bless your heart if that's what you guys want to do. But I'm not looking for somebody saying, "Hey, fat fuck, this is how you get past your cravings. Go to the gym, eat some more salads." Like, I'm talking about the connection here with recovery and addiction and the dopamine and for those people that are getting out of rehab and that are struggling with cravings now, that go to a meeting every time they have a craving. What are the tools that are out there other than just being on naltrexone for an extended period of time, or being on Vivitrol for God knows how long, or Suboxone or methadone? There's all kinds of things that they help you with in rehab, and what's the best way to fight your cravings, to quiet them down, and back when you re-enter the real world and real life and the day-to-day operation that is recovery. So yeah, man. If anybody's out there that is listening and has some tips, please let us know. Please interact on the Facebook page or on Instagram. I know that's personally my social media game isn't great. I try to keep up with it the best I can on Facebook. Jeff has since quit Facebook, and he doesn't smile. His life hasn't been better from what I'm hearing.
It's true. It's so good.
But the Instagram game I try to keep up with. I'm not so great at it. I have a lot of videos on TikTok, but President Trump, I think, has shut down TikTok. So
all those videos you have of your dancing around.
in my undie pants.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll up that game. Maybe Jeff, you're pretty good at Instagram now that you're off Facebook.
Yeah, I'm all over.
But
Instagram.
yeah, shoot us. There's a messenger on Instagram, right? Shoot Jeff or I a note. If you want to come on, we'd love to have you on. I bet I could bring Nick on. He's probably knows this shit inside and out about dopamine. He used to pump some fucking iron. There was a time where he got real swole, and
he looks like the guy who would.
We make fun of him, tell him he probably got little fucking nuts, and I'm gonna text him that I fucking chirped his ass at the end of this episode. But,
yeah, that makes it have to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah. So right. Just yeah. So let's continue this conversation and talk about dope. It's a big deal. Dopamine, which is what drives us. It's our. I always remember, and this guy's a fucking DA ATF agent now, or one of them, the other. When we were kids, and I first fucked around with ecstasy in high school, he said he was a big anti-drugger, right? These guys, he fucking born a cop, And he said, you know what that does to your serotonin and your dopamine? It takes it to some all-time highs that you'll never. It's not supposed to go that fucking high, and when it does, there's one way to come, and it's down hard, crashing hard. He told me that in high school because he was pissed off at me when he found out I did ecstasy the first time. And I still, 36 years old, going on about 72, I still fucking remember that. And the fucking prick was right, man. I'll never tell him that, but he was right, and it's a daily struggle, man, for people that are battling.
Yeah,
they equate the dopamine and serotonin with happiness, and there's other sources out there too that you can get that from. I get it now in healthy places. And if I got to eat a little ice cream and peanut butter to keep me on the right path, I think I'll live. But
Yeah.
And I would highly advise if people are having cravings for name that drug, that try it that way. Maybe they probably kill to wish their craving was for a cheeseburger without cocaine on it and a double scoop from White Cottage. But
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, man, this was fun doing this today, and I always enjoy our doing this, and we'll keep it up. I think this month should be exciting if we can get this athlete to come on, if we can just lock him down on a date, I'm really excited for that episode. I'm really excited for next week's.
Yep.
And the guy you lassoed in, that's going to be fun too. So fun month coming ahead, guys. Keep listening. If share the story, share the podcast if you can, because I can't tell you this enough, that as much as I love to hear the sound of my voice, and as much as I like to have a little cyber fuck session here with Jeff because he's hot.
Hey, baby.
We do this and invest the time in it because there's people's lives that are being affected.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're we've said this a million times. It's not that we're these, hey, look at me, we're saving lives. But it's somebody hears one thing at the right time, and I think that's a God thing. It could spark something in someone's brain to change their life, and that's happened. That has happened, and it's actually happening. So you never know what's going to happen if you share hey, there's this podcast that says fuck a lot, but talks also about trying to make better decisions or regarding alcoholism, and they touch on mental health stuff. You have no idea the power of that. So don't do it for us. Do it for the people out there that are struggling that you may not even know, or the people that you know that you don't even know are struggling. And I promise you, there's somebody in your life that fits in the latter, and we know how to hide it well. And don't overlook that. So we'll see you guys next week. Jeff, thanks again. And
yes, sir.
And as always, boys and girls, let us pray. Amen.
If you're struggling or know someone that is, please have them check out our podcast and reach out to Chris or me. We want to listen, and we're super eager to help. Pondoff's Anonymous is Chris Pondoff and produced by me, Jeff Allen. Our music is Anti-Hero by McCall and Gentle Waters by Wild Wonder. For more information, visit pondoffsanonymous.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram.